So you can make a difference. It is absolutely possible, and often we think, who am I to make a difference? I'm just a kid, I'm just a teenager, who's going to listen to me? And hopefully after the presentation this morning, you'll come away realizing that a lot of kids and teenagers throughout the world are changing their communities. Not only their communities, they're actually changing the planet through taking a step and taking initiatives and making the change they wish to see. So it's completely possible in small towns and big towns and rural towns and cities. It's possible everywhere. So the first thing I wanted to do is actually do an activity together that I'd like to start out. It's called Stand Up If. So Stand Up If is very simple, and I'm gonna do this along with you, so I'm gonna have a seat right here. So stand up if, I'm going to say stand up if you like chocolate. If you happen to like chocolate, you would stand up. Stand up if you like chocolate. Wow, that's a lot of you, fantastic. All right, have a seat, have a seat. Stand up if you have ever played a sport. Stand up if you have ever played a sport. By the way, this is for the teachers as well. So the teachers and the adults in the audience, you are equal participants. Have a seat. Stand up if you play an instrument. All right. Have a seat. Stand up if you have ever made an assumption about someone. Felt frustrated. Have a seat. Stand up if you are really happy that it's Friday. Actually, I'm really happy every single day, so any day of the week you ask me that. Have a seat. You feel like people do not listen to you because of your age. Have a seat. True story. Stand up if you see something, you want to change it, but you're not sure how. Stand up if you like music, you enjoy music. Fantastic. Have a seat. Saw some people cat scratching in the audience, that was awesome. Stand up if, well, I want to make it a good one. Stand up if you think there is nothing to do around here. Have a seat. Stand up if you think it might be possible to change that. Yeah, that's how it starts. All right, have a seat. Now the good news is someone actually stood up in response to that stand up if. It starts with one person. Honest to goodness, any change starts with one person having the courage and the bravery to take a step and to voice it. And the great news is, last year, many of you voiced your concerns about what you wanted to change within the community. And actually, at the end of this program, we're going to do the survey again because there's a few additional questions on it, asking you about what kinds of things you'd really like to see and how we can make that happen. And this partnership, this Discover partnership, is all about actually making this change happen, not just talking about it anymore, but how can we make it happen? So everyone has a story. Every single one of you in this room has a story. You have a story about the family that you come from. You have a story about the town that you live in. You have a story about the culture you come from. You have a story about the country you come from. And those stories do really matter. If you take even 5 minutes and speak to someone, no matter how different you think they are from you, if you speak to them, you'll realize you've got something in common. And speaking of that, why do you think we did the activity Stand Up If? There are actually several reasons why we did it. Can someone share why do you think we did that activity? There actually is a purpose behind it. You know what, I realized I never asked if you are here. If you are here, say, I am here. I am here. That was about half of you. Excellent, that's a good start. All right, so those of you who are here, anybody have any ideas, teachers included, why did we just do the activity that we did? A little louder, I'm actually hard of hearing, honest to goodness, that's true. What was the answer? What? To know you're not alone. Excellent. You get an extended high five all the way. Oh, good. High five over there because I was going to high five you, but I don't have Stretch Armstrong. It's okay. So, yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone. And the other thing that's important to realize is not only are you not alone, but you have something in common. All of us have something in common in this room. So I wanted to tell you a little bit more about my story, my backstory. You heard about some of the accomplishments, but I didn't start out that way. And I wanted to share a little bit of how I grew up. So that's me when I was 3, and I thought I was going to be a Hollywood star when I was 3. That never happened, but that's okay. I had big dreams when I was 3. I had big dreams when I was 3, even though I had a really rough childhood. I started working when I was 12 because I had to. And in a nutshell, I'm just going to give you the real condensed version, and I'm totally fine with this. A lot of great things have happened in my life, and from challenges, opportunities can happen. So in my family, growing up, my father tried to kill himself 5 times. He was a Vietnam veteran, and my father died when I was 22. There was a family business that he was growing up in, but his dad died when he was 19, and the oldest brother took the family business and kept it for himself and shut everybody else out. So my dad was in and out of work. He stopped working completely when I was 14. My brother was an alcoholic by the time he was 14. My brother did get sober. My brother got sober when he was 26, and he has celebrated 21 years this September of being sober, and very proud of him. And my grandmother really helped raise us. So if you would have asked me, when I was 18, that's me at age 18, I'm posing for The Breakfast Club. I was really wanting to be in that movie. So when I was 18, if you would have asked what I thought my life would be like in my 20s and my 30s, I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that in my 30s I would be performing in other countries, let alone performing in my own. Living in New York City, I never knew that was a possibility, but it was about taking risks. And in my family, you did not take risks. I grew up in a Pennsylvania Dutch, so German, half Irish family. Grandmother raised me, very practical people. Grandma wore what we called the uniform. It was a little $4 dress with 2 little pockets, and she wore that every day. But because one pocket she could put her tissues, you know, in the other pocket she could collect things in them. And she wore little, like, $5 sneakers. And that's how I knew of my grandmother, who raised me. And we didn't take risks because, oh my gosh, what might happen if you do that? That could be dangerous. And my feeling was, well, if I take that risk, maybe something really amazing will happen. And little by little, I did start taking risks. It started with small ones first. I did well in high school, and that was on purpose because I realized I did not want the same life that my parents had. I wanted something more than that. And so I did well in high school. I got scholarships to go on. I went to Kutztown University, a state school, and I studied speech and theater. Yeah, state school. And I did speech and theater, and I loved it. And I realized I had this talent that I didn't really fully realize before. And it felt really good to connect with people. And one of the things that we did was bridging cultures together through performance, and that really impacted me. So I started taking more risks, and that's me on a trapeze last year. My one and only first and last trapeze lesson. It is a lot harder than it may look. You have to lean out and grab the bar, and you gotta lean out, it's 35 feet down, you know you're safe, but you don't want to fall 35 feet because that might hurt a little bit. And taking risks has led to this journey of life that is so far exceeding my expectations of anything I would have dreamed if I was in your position now, sitting where you're sitting and looking up on the stage. So I'm like the poster child for take a chance, make a change, and things really can happen. So I want to tell you about teenagers. Well, first, that's me presenting in Poland. Last year I did a TEDx in Warsaw, Poland. And that was, they asked me to come and talk about free hugs. Has anyone heard of free hugs? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of free hugs. Some of you have, fantastic. So I have a sign that I carry everywhere I go. I brought it with me today because I never leave home without it. And when they asked me, after seeing my TED video that I had done in New York City, hey, could you come to Warsaw, Poland? And I was like, oh man, that'd be awesome. And they said, no, we just want you to know people probably won't hug you here because, it's not part of our culture. And I said, oh yeah, challenge, I like a challenge. And by the end of the presentation, actually in the beginning, there was an auditorium of 800 people, got rushed by about 400 who were open to it. So I shared that with you to tell you that the little, people might call them quirks that you have or something that you're really passionate about, something that you really care about, don't allow others to tell you that it's silly or it doesn't matter. Something as small as a hug or a smile can make a huge difference.